So we start here with the plasma cutter, and I run this thing all the way around and then remove the top, as you'll see here in a second. So there it is with the top removed. Now we cut the wiring harness, and we'll get this piece of metal off of here. It has 4 bolts. So what I'll do is grab this motor stator and pull it straight up and out. There we go. Now we can see the armature and the pump underneath it. Now looky there. The armature will not turn. It should freely spin. So we know this compressor failed in a locked up position. We probably tried to bump it off the hard start and it didn't work. So I'll cut this steel tubing, and that will let me pull this entire pump out of here. And no, that's not copper tubing, by the way. It is steel. Here we go. I'm shaking the oil off of it. Now all that's left is the bottom casing with a bunch of oil in it. And by the way, that oil seems really thin, and down below it is like a 1/2 inch of sludge all over the bottom of it. Okay, so there's the connecting rods in the cam. See, I'm having trouble turning it. I wiggle it back and forth, but it won't actually turn. It won't spin around. But it will here in a minute after I work it some. So now it is, but it is dragging. So I'm unsure if it's because of a bunch of gritty crud down in there, or if something's bent. So I'm looking at it, trying to figure out if the connecting rods are bent or broken, or they don't seem to be, but it's definitely not operating very well. So I'll go ahead and remove this back cover, and we'll be able to see the end of the camshaft. Although what I really want to see is what that plate looks like on the inside of it. One more screw and this will come off. Well, after I beat it with a hammer, it'll come off. The best way to get these off is to smack the front of it with a hammer, and then it'll separate just enough that you can get a flat blade screwdriver in there and lightly tap it with a hammer, pry it off. And my long extension makes it a little bit harder, but I don't like to change my sockets out very much because my hands are oily and it makes it hard to pull the sockets off. So I just deal with it. Yeah, that really helped. So I'm grabbing my screwdriver to do it the right way. Okay, now if you look closely, you'll see it separated just a tiny bit at the top. And I'm going to grab those stupid things again and throw them back down. And now I'll grab my screwdriver. Here we go. Now I'll tap it a couple times and that thing will separate and come off real easy. And there it is, and you can see it's pretty nasty. So what we know so far, the motor was good, the windings were good. It just locked up for some reason and probably kind of cooked itself. Looking down in here, you see all kinds of nasty oil. It's all over the connecting rods, and it almost looks burnt, but I think it's just, you see, I kind of touch it with my glove, the connecting rod, and you see some bare aluminum now. So I think it's just burned oil all over it. So now, once again, I'm kind of just trying to see if something's bent or if something's in there, piece of metal. A lot of times we open these up and the connecting rods will actually be broken and the wrist pins will be out and jamming the whole thing up. Now, as far as why it locked up, I mean, there's a lot of reasons for that. So, I mean, it's going to be hard to tell, but it could have been a situation where they had a freon leak and they kept letting it run low until it overheated, and that happened several times maybe. Could it have some kind of an issue with oil return? So now we'll get this valve cover off and see what the valve plate looks like. And yeah, I could have used my drill, and next time I will. Video number 2, I'll use my drill, my impact driver. See, it's a little hard to torque those while the thing is sliding around the oil. Right now I'm just getting an extension ready with just a socket on it so I can turn it faster. So if you see that stator laying there with the copper coils, a lot of times when the windings burn up, that thing will be all black instead of shiny copper. It'll be dark black. Not always, but sometimes it'll be pretty obvious that it's burned up. And that stator looks good. I mean, it's not tore up inside. The copper windings don't look bad, and like I said, they tested good. Alright, so now we got the valve cover off, and my gasket got hung up on the reed valve there. No big deal. So it's probably hard to tell from the video. When I ran my fingers down through that cover layer, it's just full of grit. And then we have what looks like burnt oil just all over it. And when I mash on those little valves, they feel kind of crunchy, like stepping on cereal. Just kind of trying to see if the reeds are broken or bent or cracked. And they are a little bent. Later I took them off and or took the valve plate off and washed it in simple green and got it really clean and got a flashlight. And I can see light coming through places where it shouldn't. But that's not what killed it. That probably just made it less efficient. But it did have a lot of gritty stuff in there that definitely didn't need to be in there. It didn't come with it anyway. So I'm looking at the valve cover, just trying to see if there's anything broken in here, any metal pieces. I'm not really seeing anything. It's just gritty and dirty. And I cut some of this footage out of me inspecting this part because it went on for a few minutes and there was really nothing to see. It was just me holding it and looking at it and wiping it off. So I didn't want to force you to watch all that, so I cut that part out. So now I'm removing the valve plate. And you can see how nasty the top of the pistons are, especially the left one by my right hand. And right now it's turning because I broke it loose earlier. I can still feel it dragging at certain spots when I spin it around. So there's the back side of the valve plate, and it's just got a lot of nasty oil on it. And as I'm wiping it, I'm still trying to look to see if there's anything cracked or bent, broken. So again, I'm just kind of spinning this thing and trying to see if any kind of little small piece of metal is stuck in there somewhere. And I didn't really see anything. So now here's the valve plate after I cleaned it up. It looks like it may overheated in some places. I see some pitting. It's probably harder for you to see. There's a little bit of light coming through that bottom reed. And I think we got 2 more images that should be popping up. This one, you see that horizontal band of light that's coming through one of the reeds. It probably looks worse here than it really is. And I think we still got 1 or 2 more images. Again, you can see the reed. You can kind of tell that it's slightly separated from the plate. If this helped you, hit subscribe. I post real-world HVAC repairs every week.